Hi, I'm Jonathan from PTFS Europe, and what's on my mind this week is checking whether patrons have previously borrowed a book from the library. Now, this was a feature that was actually introduced quite a number of years ago as part of the housebound module, and it was designed specifically so that if a housebound patron was at home and they had a member of staff at the library who was selecting material for them to be delivered to them at home, the library staff wouldn't go and select books they'd perhaps had the previous week or the previous month. So it was a useful check when the library staff checked out the book that they wouldn't actually, they would know straight away whether that book had been borrowed before. Now, this has been extended in more recent years to make it a more generally useful feature, and you can now apply it globally and more specifically at patron user category. So you can still use it for housebound users only, or you can extend it beyond that. Now, it's well documented in the manual. If you search for CheckPrevCheckout, you'll find this help page in the manual, which explains how it works. But I'm just going to go over that today just to show you how these settings work and how it behaves. So let's go over to our staff client, and to start with, I'm just going to check out a regular book to myself. So this is just a title in the catalogue, and I've checked it out and it's been issued as you would expect straight away. Now let's just check that back in again. And now let's go and have a look at our system preferences. So I'm going to search for that CheckPrev system preference. Now you can see at the moment, this is actually set to do not check the borrower history to see if this current item has been checked out before. And the way this works is it looks at the biblio number of the record and any copies associated with that biblio number that might have been issued. So that's how the check takes place. So just to demonstrate how that works, if I set that to do check and then check out that book again, we should get the alert because I've checked it out just now. And there we go. Patron has previously checked out this title. Do we want to check it out anyway? So we might say, no, actually, we're going to go and select a different book for that user. Now, if I try a different book, and this time I'm going to check out 8005, and that's allowed me to check that out straight away. And the reason for that is that you've got this secondary setting called CheckPrevCheckoutDelay. Trigger a warning if the current item has been checked out no longer than, and in this case, 365 days ago, so a year ago. So what we're doing here is we're applying this check only to the books that were issued in the past year. Now that particular book, I actually borrowed back in 2019. So if we just go and have a look at my circulation history and search for that 8005, you can see that I borrowed it back in 2019. So actually I have previously borrowed it, but not within the 365-day window. So in this case, that's why it's allowed me to borrow the book. Now, because I've issued it again now, and it's, if we just check it, perhaps check it back in again. So it was 8005. And then try and check it out again. It is now going to apply that check because obviously I checked it out a few minutes ago. And there we go. Now, this becomes more complex because you can now apply this at patron category level. And just to show you how that works, let's just first of all jump across to our patron categories. And I'm actually a staff user, so let's just have a look at staff to start with. Now, at the moment, you'll see that there is no reference in here to the previous checkout check, and that is because we haven't set anything here at the moment. So what you'll see is that there's two additional settings. One, unless overridden by the patron category, do not check out, or unless overridden by the patron category, do check out. So I really want to say do here. So I'm going to apply this setting and always do that check unless the patron category says don't do that check. So let's just have a look now and refresh this patron category. And what we should see is it's now enabled this additional button. And at the minute, it's inheriting it from the system preference. So we're going to say, and as we've got the system preference set to do, then we would expect Koha to apply this check at this point. And to just prove that, let's just try and check out that book once more to myself. So it's inheriting the check, and as expected, it's applying it. So we can see that it has said, I have previously borrowed this. Now, if we want to make this an exception, we can modify this and apply specifically to this borrower patron category that we don't want to apply it for this type of user, for in this case staff. So if I set that and issue the book again, it should allow me to issue it this time without that check in place. So it's doing no check in my circulation history as to whether I've had that book before or not. So let's just check that out. And in this case, it's actually allowed me to check this out. In fact, it's already on loan, so it's asking me whether I want to renew it or not. So it's a powerful feature, and I think it's really useful in a number of different scenarios, particularly for obviously for housebound users, but in other scenarios as well. So if you haven't got it turned on, then do turn it on, try it, and see whether it's helpful to you. And we hope you found this video useful, and we look forward to seeing you next time.